Hey, if you're struggling as a real estate agent right now, I want you to know I've been there. It is completely normal, especially in this market. We're down to 1995 levels of transactions, and you don't expect to struggle at all. And for the agents that are crushing it, bravo. You have adapted so incredibly well to this very slow pace of sales that we have at the moment. And I just want to say to the struggling agents, like you can take the experience of this moment, just like I did, and go crush it. I want you to know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope at the end of the rainbow here if you don't quit. There's a study that 80% of people quit after the first wave of failure happens. They try to do something. The first signs that this is harder than I thought, they quit. 80%. And another 10% quit after the second signs of this is too hard. This is harder than I thought. The second time they fall on their face with doing something, they quit. That leaves 10%. Guess what? Only 10% of agents make it through the first year or two in the business. Why is that? Because they just don't quit. It's just a matter of not quitting and just continuing to move forward regardless of how hard it gets. When new agents come in, they tell me, "Oh, Ricky, you said it was going to be hard and I know it's going to be hard." And I'm like, "Yeah, multiply whatever you think times 20, and that's actually how hard it's going to be." People have a misconception of what we do. This is a big reason why people think that we get paid too much money. They have no idea what we do. And so when you really think about where we are in the market right now, where we are moving forward, you're in the best position, even if you're struggling. I saw a quote that around 70% of agents didn't even sell a property this year. 70%. Even if you're one of the 70%, I'm telling you, you are in the best position possible because you weren't selling anything anyway. Moving forward, you could actually, if you take the right steps, put yourself in position to absolutely crush it, not only next year, but even more so the year after. More so, the market's going to do nothing but get better and better and better. And it's not going to happen overnight. This is going to be a very slow moving roller coaster is what it's going to be. It's going to be a very slow moving process to get back to a normal market. This slow market is here to stay for a little while longer, but the problem is agents slow down with it and they don't realize this is the time that you need to take advantage, and once it's gone, it's gone. You can't take advantage of 2008 again, and after 2024 you're not going to be able to take advantage of 2024. Where's the opportunity? The opportunity is within expanding your influence in the market so that when the market turns around, everybody comes to you. You've got to create relationships in the market. Everything that I preach, you've got to go all in or you're going to be all out. That's really just the bottom line. Friday, this is Friday. Happy Friday. These Friday videos are meant to inspire you. I'm going to be sharing a keynote that I did or an interview with you every Friday. And I'm going to be on schedule with YouTube every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday is going to be my Monday morning strategy video where I'm going to go deep on a very incredible strategy, whatever the newest thing is. Next Monday, I'm going to teach you how to make $1 million in this market, how to take advantage of this market. The next Monday, I'm going to teach you how to handle 25 plus listings at all times, how to handle it, because most agents are scared to go stack listings because they don't know what to do when they get them. And they're scared that if they get a bunch and they don't sell, oh no. I'm going to teach you how to handle that process so that you can go out and stack a bunch of listings, which is exactly what you need to be doing right now. And Fridays are going to be my motivational videos where I'm going to have keynotes and interviews and podcasts and things of that nature. Wednesday is going to be my Wednesday real estate update video where I'm going to give you the breaking news, what's going on with the market, what's going on with the lawsuits and home sales, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to get on a roll here, guys, and I'm going to bring you as much value as possible. I'm getting everything together so I can get into a nice flow to bring you guys as much value as I possibly can. So today's keynote comes from an RREP event that I did a couple weeks ago. Is 1 week before the election. It's really cool listening back to this now that we're past the election to see what my mindset was, to see what I was telling agents to do a week before the election, to tell them how they should be thinking going into the election. It's going to be very beneficial to you because I got something out of it when I listened back to it. I also talk about my best friend, who passed away that day. He was my first and only real estate mentor. He taught me everything that I know. The letter that I teach you guys, he taught it to me. He inspired the weekly email. He taught me how to look up property owners and what to say when I was a brand new agent. This guy was a hero to me. He was a mentor to me. He was my best friend. And he tragically, unexpectedly passed away the day that I did this keynote. So I had to talk about him. He was heavy on my heart. So you'll get a lot out of this talk. And there was a Q&A session at the end. Normally I cut those out for videos, but as I was listening to it, I said, this is too much value. So enjoy this keynote and be looking out for my videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from here on out. I am doing my 2025 business planning session December 18th. I'll put a link in the description right now so that you can register for that. It's totally free. And enjoy this video. We'll see you soon and keep selling.
The first thing I want to talk about is what's going to happen a week from now, right? Big day coming up a week from today, right? In terms of your business, just so you realize, it really doesn't matter which way that goes. And on an individual basis, we really don't have much control over it. We'll go, we'll vote, we'll do our thing and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, individually, we can't control what happens next Tuesday. But I can tell you this, how many of you guys have buyers and sellers who are waiting on the election to happen right now, right? And some of those buyers and sellers are really just blowing smoke, right? Some of them are serious about buying and selling. Like, what you going to put an offer in on November 6th? You telling me? No, I don't think so. So a lot of them are blowing smoke, right? And a lot of prospects will tell you what they think you want to hear to get you out of there, right? Prospects are really good at getting real estate agents out of there, right? I might sell in 6 months, or I'm waiting on the election, or I'm waiting on New Year's, or maybe in the spring, or whatever. So what you should do is you should go deeper into these situations to really understand, are they blowing smoke, or are they actually serious about possibly doing something whenever that event occurs? And then continuing to go deeper and deeper and deeper. See, this is a communication game, right? Learning how to communicate with people. See, the whole purpose of prospecting is to get your prospect comfortable enough with you to open up to you, to tell you everything that they want to do in the world when it comes to real estate, right? It's not to set an appointment, to get a listing, to sell a property. One objective when you're talking to prospects: to get them to tell you what it is that they want to do. Even if it's 5 or 10 years out, it doesn't really matter how long out it is. Like, if you want to do something in 5 years, I want to know more about that. Because in 5 years, when you actually do a deal, if in fact you are going to do a deal, I want to be your real estate agent. You see, I'm talking to you right now. I'm spending the time to talk to you right now. And so if you don't want to do a deal today, most coaches, brokers, trainers, agents, they'll throw that prospect away. Okay, cool. See ya. I literally have seen this happen lately. And I'll tell the agent, why are you not digging a little deeper to see what in fact they want to do and why? Like, number one, they may want to do something today and you're just not digging deep enough. Number two, even if they want to do something 3, 4, 5 years out, why wouldn't you want that business? You see, it's more than just trying to do deals today. When I say relationships over transactions, it's more than just doing a deal today. I'm far more interested in you guys building your career to the capacity that you dream about. As in, if you want $1 million a year business, how many of you want $1 million a year business? You want $1 million a year business, it's not going to happen based on the lead you got the year that you made the $1 million. It's going to happen from the accumulation and the compounding of the relationships you built all the years up to the year that you made the $1 million. So you have to understand this concept. The only way to build a massive business as an agent is compounding relationships, which means you need a mechanism in place, whereas no one that you talk to, right, everyone you talk to never forgets who you are. So you have to ask yourself, what's my mechanism? Like, what system, what machine do I have in place that everyone I talk to remembers me forever, right? And I'll give you guys a hint. and I want to do Q&A. So if you think of a really great question, hang on to it, because I think that's where most of the value is on a small group like this. Like, what's on your mind? What's going on in your business? But I'll give you guys a hint. It's not social media. Why? Because social media has, what, a 5-10% organic reach? All right? You follow someone, all right, and you don't engage with their content, the platform stops showing you their content. So people are following you, but if they're not engaging with you, then they actually don't see your content anymore. Like, you see people's content that you forgot about. Like, oh, I forgot I was following this person. It could be like a huge influencer, awesome person you love, but you quit liking and commenting, so the algorithm kind of just threw that content away for you and put stuff in front of you that you're actually engaging with. Same thing with you with your clients. So that's just a hint, right? Okay. So next week, when everything goes down Tuesday, you should be thinking about, because there's a lot of people blowing smoke. I'll wait till after the election, and there's a lot of people that's dead serious that they're about to buy or sell something after this goes down. Maybe that means January. I think January is going to be a crazy year. I just saw data that showed that we're going to be between 3.8 and 3.9 million existing home sales for 2024, okay? Do you realize that that's lower than 95? 1995. That's on pace with 1995. Okay? Not 2008. Like, I was telling Orrin, this right now is the worst market, because if I even think about our lifetime, and I think about how bad a market could actually get, and I think about, okay, how can a market be any worse than it is right now? And I think, okay, price is coming down. All right? Like in 2008, that was the most amazing time to be an agent. Why? Because things were half off. Homes were half price. So when I think about a market where prices come down, I'm thinking that's going to be a little easier because there will be buyers and everything's going to be at a discount. And we know it's going to rebound. So when I think about that kind of market, I think that's actually going to be a little easier than it is right now when prices are still at all-time highs and transactions are 95 levels. I believe right now is the worst market that you'll ever see in your life. But yet closings are still happening every single day. And a lot of you guys are crushing it. Some of you guys are having a better year this year than you've ever had. How many of you guys are having a better year this year than you've ever had in your career? Right? Give it up for these guys. Like, that's amazing. And the fact that you guys took off work today to come to a thing like this tells me that you're successful to a level to be able to afford to be able to take off work to come to something like this. In the worst markets you're ever going to see in your life, but you're still succeeding at the level where you can all get together and collaborate and have fun at the PBR Cowboy Bar and ride bulls. It's insane how well we're doing as an industry in literally the worst markets you're ever going to see in your life. So, I say all that to say this. Next year's going to be a banger. Next year's going to be a banger. And if you get used to 95 levels of transactions, just wait till we get back to 2012 levels of transactions next year. And 2014, the year after that, and get back to a 5 million a year existing home sale environment. I just talked to a huge mortgage broker. Huge. They do billions every year. And he said, here recently, in the past, 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, they've had the largest gap between pre-qualification and pending deals, right? The largest gap of days between going pre-qualified to under contract that he's ever seen by far in history, right? It's because of the election. Everybody's waiting on this thing. You realize how much pent-up demand is right now? Trade-up sellers, election people, first-time home buyers. The amount of 30-something-year-olds is more than we've had in decades before the baby boomers. It's ridiculous. So I'm just telling you all this to tell you that going all in right this second is the key to your business multiplying. See, a market can on the downswing, a market can really only fluctuate your business like 10, 20, 30%. If it's like Armageddon, maybe 50%, but it can't take you out. The agents that leave the business when the market has a down cycle, they just don't understand the business yet. I left when the market went down in 2008. I got out of the business. So I didn't understand how these things work. But when you understand how it works, you realize it can only fluctuate you 10, 20%. But then when it comes back, it can literally 4, 5x you. And so I'm just telling you, if you want to multiply your business and you want to build a massive career, don't not prospect right now because not much is going on and everybody's waiting on elections, because that's not the goal of prospecting. The goal of lead generation and prospecting and creating content and doing whatever it is you do to meet new people in your market, the goal is simple. Have a conversation with them about what they want to do concerning buying and selling real estate. Understand that more than they do, as in, when you tell me why you want to buy or sell a piece of property, I'm going to go 5 to 10 questions deep, and it's not scripted. When you tell me why, I'm listening to why so intensely that it creates genuine curiosity that develops 3 more questions in my mind, because I actually want to know more about that. I'm going to ask you so many questions. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to get to a question you've never even thought of, and now I know more about your situation than you do. In my opinion, that's called being professional. And a lot of people won't ask the hard questions because they're scared. They feel like you're invading your privacy and stuff like that. But I'm telling you right now, your prospect's going to respect you because no other agent is doing this. And they're going to be, wow, they're going to walk away from that conversation blown away because you went deeper than anyone else, and now all of a sudden, you're their agent for life. Is this bringing value? Okay. I don't have a long time to speak, actually, and I get on a roll. I don't know how long it's been, and I didn't prepare anything. So I need to say something, and I don't want to get too heavy with this, but I do need to say something. Then I want to take some questions. My first and only real estate mentor, right, when I first got in the business, because I'm going to tell you guys a little story about this, but before I do that, I want to tell you why I'm telling you this. The greatest real estate agent that I've ever known, okay, like a brother to me, was found dead this morning. And my wife called me at 11 o'clock on the dot this morning. I was at a conference. I'm like, why is she calling me? And I knew. I was like, what is it? And she was crying because her mother and his wife were best friends growing up. And I didn't even know my wife till I was 30-something, right? This goes deep. So I want to dedicate this speech to him because I'm just telling you, it's the only thing I can think about right now. And like, I could tell you a lot of stories, but I want to stick to what brings you guys value with this. And I want to kind of let him speak through me, right? Because he was my first and only risk. Like, he taught me everything I know about selling real estate. This guy was a genius. So when I got in real estate in 2002, it took me 8 months to get to my first deal, all right? He was there. He was the #1 exit realty agent in the state of Alabama. And I'm like, this guy's my hero. And he's talking to me, and he's sharing everything with me. This guy was special. He taught me how to look up phone numbers, scripts to use, postcards to do, emails to write, letters. So those of you who have touched my coaching program to some capacity know that I have this handwritten letter that I do, that I teach everybody. He taught it to me, right? And I used it to get my very first listing. So I closed my very first deal on this letter that somebody called me on that I got the listing for. Point is that he was the one that got me into the game and got me rolling and supported me, was a cheerleader and just supported me, right? So I go on a roll, I make all this money, and then the market crashes and I lose everything. You guys know my story. So I'm homeless, I'm sleeping in my car, I'm eating out of people's refrigerators, I'm sleeping on friends' couches, and I went back to roofing houses and I'm working on an oil rig in Mississippi. And I'm working on this oil rig in 2007, and I'm watching MLS, and I'm like, what? I'm the hardest working, most honest agent that I know. Why did I lose everything? And I'm looking at MLS, and I'm just studying every day, like trying to figure this thing out. And I realized Scott, sold 30 properties in 2006, which was 2007, I think, was our worst year on the Gulf Coast. But it was amazing because everybody left the business, and this dude was still cranking 3 deals a month, which was crazy at the time. So I called him and I said, hey, what are you doing, man? Like, I'm ready to I want to get back in the game. Come over to the house. I'll show you everything I'm doing. So in the beginning, right, he taught me phone calls, postcards, and emails. And so I go over to his house in 2007. That was 2002. In 2007, I go to his house. What do you think he taught me? Phone calls, postcards, and emails. The same exact thing, but the difference was the messaging. The beaches are just as nice as they used to be, but the condos are 50% off right now. Who wants one? This guy was a genius. The way that he crafted these messages. And so think about it. He got me in the business. I made it big, I lost it. He brought me back in the business the second time around, okay? So then I go on another run. And he had it. You guys know about my weekly email, right? He influenced this. His creative genius influenced this, right? The letter that I teach came from him, right? Word for word. So I'm crushing it, right? In 2010, the BP oil spill hits, and I have a great year, even though it was like a mini recession for us. Okay? That was the year when I crushed it. I said, I'm going to the #1 company in our area. Right? And one of the reasons I wanted to go there is because he was there now. And he was the #1 agent at the #1 company. Right? And then in 2013, we're at an awards banquet, and I'm #6 in the state, and he's #1 for Remax in the state of Alabama. And I said, I want to be #1. Right? So if you guys are following this, I'm always chasing this guy. I'm always chasing this guy. He's always a little bit ahead of me, and I'm always trying to chase him. And so in 2014, he didn't know it, but he had a target on his back. And I'm like, I can beat him. And so in 2014, I put together a plan, and I beat him, and I was the #1 Remax agent in the city of Alabama that year. And so all through my career has been me chasing him. Now, I don't have time to get into like all the personal stories and things that we went through together and fun times, and because there's a lot, right? But today, when my wife called me, I had to get off the phone. I said, you got to let me process this for just a second. And I was telling the guys that I was with and everything, and I said, you know what, I'm going to look up his stats for the year. And he sold $10 million this year. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And so I was like, let me go back to 2020 and see what he sold since 2020, just to see what he sold and stuff, right? So there's 4,000 agents, I'm guessing, in my MLS, okay? And so I pull up everything from 2020. This is crazy. I pull up everything from 2020, and literally there he is, number 35, right? Out of 4,000, and I don't even sell anymore. I haven't sold a house in 3 years. Out of 4,000 agents, I'm number 36, right under him. And it's like, I'm still chasing him. He's dead. I still can't beat him. Right? And we both had 100 million under our belts. Like, you scroll over and it's 100 million a piece. And that's crazy, right? That's insane to me when I looked down and I saw that. But I wanted to just say something because it's all I can think about. It happened today. And it's just been heavy on my heart. I just had to let this out, tell a little story about how amazing he was. And I hope you guys appreciate it or got some kind of value out of it, because I'm going to tell you something. We're just not promised tomorrow. And when you think about real estate and you think about, next year and the year after and the year after and all these things, we're not promised tomorrow. And if I could tell you anything that could help you get there quicker, it'd be that the only thing between you and your dreams and your goals in terms of whatever you're trying to achieve in this business, the only thing between that are thousands of one-on-one conversations with people in your market, right? Thousands of one-on-one conversations with people in your market. My point is, we're not promised tomorrow. So why not, let's knock these thousands of conversations out over the next 3 to 5 years instead of stretching it out over the next 20. You guys can all hit your goals in the next 3 to 5 years. Any real estate agent can hit their goals in the next 3 to 5 years. The reason they don't is because they avoid the conversation. They spend thousands and thousands of dollars to not talk to people, to turn around and just call the people they spent thousands and thousands to get. It makes zero sense, right? You can't get around it. So why not just pick up the phone and call the exact people you want to do business with? I'd rather do videos. Do videos is a supplementary action because the thing is you got to call them anyway. So Scott, one thing, he had all these one-liners, and one thing he said is that if you're scared to make calls, you're scared to make money. And this entire business is predicated on you talking to people you do and don't know to help them buy and sell real estate. It's the exact thing agents don't want to do. It's the most ironic thing I've ever seen, right? So I've been through everything in this business that you can imagine. The highest highs, the lowest lows, and everything in between. I've tried everything that you can imagine, and I have very strong opinions about things, right? So I don't know where I am on time, but I'll take some questions now, if you guys have any.
We can take some questions. I'll ask you the first question.
Okay. It normally takes about a good 15 to 20 seconds because... No. Let's get it mic there because that way everybody can hear. Okay.
Sorry for your loss, brother.
It's good. It's live.
Yeah. Listen, quick question as far as making those calls. Good CRM you request, or just get those cards to start down. You have a good CRM that you use.
What do you need the CRM to do?
Just track it. Disposition it so I can follow up. Make sure I'm following.
What are you using now to give phone numbers?
Right now, I'm grabbing cards, making calls, following up right now.
So go to redx, redx.com/Ricky. Yeah, Redx. You literally get GeoLeads Plus. You literally can pick out any property owner you want and get their cell phone and email and disposition them however you want and add them to your CRM. Okay. How many of you guys are scared to make calls? Oh, we're good. You guys are beasts. You guys don't need nothing. You guys are good to go. You guys are just crushing the phones, huh? Crushing the phone. I understand. I'm going to touch on that and then take another question. The reason why most people are scared to call prospects is because of a thing called stereotype threat, which means that you're worried that they're going to think you're a sleazy salesperson. You're worried they're going to think that about you, right? The only thing, all you got to do is just not be a sleazy salesperson. Number one, right? But number two, here's the problem in the industry. We've been programmed to believe certain things. And we've been programmed to believe we got to say certain things and do certain things when we call prospects and to get listings, right? We've all been programmed that the only way to get listings is to call a property owner and say, hey, would you consider selling your house today? Right? You don't know me and I don't know you. But will you sell your house? It's the first time we're talking, but will you sell your house so I can make some money today? That's how we come across, and that's why we're scared to make calls, because we haven't figured out the right approach that makes us feel comfortable to line up who we are and how we're communicating, right? The problem is that we are great people, right? There's a misconception about who real estate agents are, right? I'm telling you, real estate agents are some of the greatest, most honest, hardworking, dependable people, and I say that with all sincerity, that I've ever met. And the problem is, since we've been poorly trained and we've been programmed the wrong way, the way we communicate doesn't articulate who we actually are as people. See, when you can line up who you are as a person with how you're communicating to your prospects, where they know how honest, dependable, hardworking, knowledgeable, professional you are, then it's game over. So when you can line up who you are with how you're communicating, all these fears go away because now all of a sudden you don't care what they think about you, right? So how do you do that? You have a great approach. And so if anybody wants to know that, I'm sure somebody will raise your hand and say, well, Ricky, what's your approach? So I'll save that. All right, I'll save that. Because maybe they don't, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Okay. Questions? Okay, so my approach. Okay, so when you call a prospect, you're like, hey, would you sell your house, right? What are you really doing? Well, it's almost, not quite, but I think about it like I'm the bank trying to foreclose on their home. Hey, you love your home, but I want to take it from you. I'm going to give you some money, but I'm going to take it from, I'm going to give it to these people up here. And they're thinking, no, I love my home. Why want to sell my home? I love it. And now all of a sudden you're the bad guy because you're trying to take their home from them. And they don't even know you, mind you. This is the first time you've ever talked. It's like, get out of here. I'm waiting on the election. Click. So, what I like to do is instead of calling them to insinuate that I want to take this beautiful home that they love, that they have all these memories that they don't want to let go, I want to offer them. Instead of trying to take, I want to offer them something. What am I going to offer? Well, there's a lot of things I can offer, but what I like to do is I like to offer them a bigger home, a nicer home, a newer home, one with a bigger yard and a water view. And so what I do is you can literally identify any listing you want. Any listing you want. And this literally should be what you do every day. You should wake up and go to the office and look at MLS and say, I'm going to sell this house today. And then what do? You go to RedX, you go to GeoLeads, you find all the people, you target the property owners who have smaller homes or older homes or whatever. It can be anything, right? You can have a subdivision that has 2-story homes, right? And you got this beautiful 1-story home over here for sale. And you're like, hey, are you tired of walking upstairs? I got a really nice 1-story I'd love to show you. It could be anything. You can twist this into anything that you want when it comes to the selling points of a house and target the exact property owners that could upgrade or downgrade, upgrade into that home. And it's like, hey, Mr. Johnson, Ricky Carruth at whatever real estate company, whatever area, how are you doing today? Oh, don't say how are you doing. Whatever you do, don't say how are you doing, right? You guys heard that one? So funny. How are you doing today? Why? Because honestly, that's all I really even care about. Cool, me too, I'm enjoying the day. Isn't it gorgeous? Great. Listen, I won't take up too much of your time today, but I see you're in a 3-bedroom. Do you need a 4-bedroom? Because I got a really nice one right around the corner that's for sale. I'd love to show it to you if you'd like. And then just see what they say. What happened? Now I'm calling to give them something, right? Because when they're like, oh, you're a real estate agent. Well, I'm not selling my house. Great. That just happens to be not the reason why I'm calling. I'm actually calling to see if you need a 4-bedroom and if you'd like to see this 4-bedroom right down the road. Now what happens? They don't want the 4-bedroom. They're not going to buy the house you're calling about, but now they're going to open up and tell you everything that they want to do concerning real estate. Why? Because now they see you as a giver, not a taker. I could go all day. We could get into the intricate details and take this all the way to the moon. But honestly, I'd like to hear questions about where you're stuck in your business or what I can do to help you guys concerning anything, lead gen, conversion, retention, anything, marketing, social, anything you got. And if not, then I would just assume you guys are good to go. We can call it a day. Stand up. Okay, new agents, just started. If it's a new agent starting out just making calls, okay, go on MLS and like find a listing that you're just like, oh man, like you're just like, ooh, I'm gonna sell this house today. You find all the owners that own houses next to it that are smaller, older, worst view or whatever, and you call them, you say, hey, are you tired of living here? Because I got something nicer. The same exact strategy. Why wouldn't you? Like, okay, I'm just going to say this. I've seen it all. I don't know any strategy, just my opinion, of course. I know no strategy that's better than this. Because every single lead gen activity, the objective is to create a conversation with a potential buyer or seller. That's the KPI of lead gen, okay? So why would I spend all this time, money, and energy on Zillow, open houses, social, making videos? Like, why would I spend all that time, money, and energy to get to the conversation when I can just pay a penny and get the exact person I want to do business with and just have the conversation right now? I literally hacked the system, spent no time, money, or energy to get that lead, because every human is a lead. And certainly if you own property in my market, the exact type of property I want to sell, you're a high quality lead. Why would I do anything else? It's like literally the fastest way to the conversations, which is the objective of every lead gen activity. So why am I even doing any of this stuff? Now, I'll tell you why you do all that stuff. Not to get to the conversation, but to market yourself. You're still going to do those things, but understand where they fit in your business model, right? Does that answer your question? Did you have a question?
Yeah. I think selling 100 houses in a year for 8 years in a row is no small feat. And I think a lot of that comes from mindset. I'm curious about what a regular day, like an average day, looks like for you.
It depends on where I was in my career. If I'm still building my base, my database, my brand, my name, then most of my day is prospecting to continue to build my base. About 3 hours a day, I'm calling to meet new people and add them to my database to where they can get my weekly email that's on the same day of the week forever. That's how they're never going to forget me. It's the easiest thing in the world. They will never forget me because it's a 90% organic reach versus 5% organic reach on social media, right? Use social media sprinkle on top of the email. Use the email as the foundation of your personal brand. A thin layer of the text messaging on top of that sprinkled with social media. Do it all, but understand where it fits, right? But to answer your question, it depends on where I am in the journey. So when I got to $1 million a year, because of the weekly email, I told you guys to get to your dream, you're not going to make a meal off the leads you got that year. Everybody thinks there's some special lead gen, shiny penny thing that's going to magically drop down and you're going to make $1 million off all the leads you got that year. No, it's going to be a compounding of the relationships over the years. And how are you going to compound those? A weekly email is the best way. I can't think of anything better. So because of the weekly email, and I built that up. So whatever your dream income is, if you prospect every single year until you hit that dream income, then you can quit prospecting if you did the weekly email. What most agents do is they get up to like 200 grand, then they quit prospecting, they make 200 grand forever. Wherever you quit prospecting, the year you quit prospecting, whatever you're making that year, that's what you're going to make from there on out. You're not going to grow anymore because referrals and past clients just maintain your business. It doesn't grow it, and that's the misconception, that's the mirage. But because of the way I built it, when I got to $1 million, I never made another cold call ever again in my life, and I made $1 million every year for the next 5 years until I got out of sales because I prospected in the weekly email. So when I got to that point, I was literally working 25 hours a week. I was selling 2 properties a week, but I wasn't chasing the business. The business was chasing me at that point. See, this is the light at the end of the tunnel. When you think about, cold call and make videos or Zillow leads or whatever. No, all these things are designed to help you build your career and build your base up to where you never have to do those things ever again. It will get to that point. So that's what I'm saying. Tomorrow's not promised. Let's cram these thousands of conversations into a 3 to 5 year period, get to the $1 million so that we can get on to bigger and better things with your life. So I ask you this. How many of you, by show of hands, want to be a real estate agent for the rest of your life? For the rest of your life? Not for the rest of your life, so the hand down on that one. I'm talking about for the rest of your life, right? Huh? You want to do real estate all the way, forever? There's probably going to be a percentage, right? I was in a room of 500 agents, not a single hand went up. And I was like, wait a minute. I said, wait a minute. You're real estate. This is a room full of real estate agents. You're at an event to learn how to sell more real estate agent, but nobody here wants to be a real estate agent? It's the truth, right? My point is, why are you dragging this out by doing things that don't involve talking to people right now? You guys could leave right here, right now, and go talk to the exact people you want to do business with and create those relationships now, right? It's probably a little too late right now. Tomorrow morning, first thing, like anytime you want to, you can literally communicate with the exact people you want to do business with. Why are you doing anything except that so you can get to the $1 million so you can move on to bigger and better things in your life that you actually want to do? Right? Why are we waiting? I don't want to talk to people. Go get a job. Think about the air-conditioned environment that you work in versus laying shingles on a roof or drilling pipe on an oil rig or building houses or doing landscaping or working in McDonald's, which is, I guess, a trending thing at this point. 2 minutes. I'll take you and I'll take you.
At what time usually you recommend calling? Because sometimes some of us, like mornings can be tough, and I've tried afternoons, So is there like something that you...
She's asking what time of day to make calls, right? So why is it hard for you in the morning?
Because I'm dropping off the kids. Sometimes it becomes tough.
Here, I'll give you the best advice in the world. Whatever's best for you. So like you drop off the kids, you need to come home, you need an hour to like get ready and do all this stuff and then like make your calls at say 10 to 12, great, right? If you want to do 1 to 3 or whatever works best for you. I never found a best pickup time. I did all hours, all days. I never found a time where it's like, oh, this is dramatically better in terms of pickup rates. Some people try to say, I want to call this time because more people are going to pick up. Okay, whatever, right? So then I program myself to do it when was best for me. In the morning, I'm wittier, I'm funnier. Like after lunch, you mentally become more fatigued. You don't realize it. You mentally become a little fatigued. You're not all the way in your A game. You don't even realize it. So I want to be on my A game. Also in the morning when I knock it out, I know I'm good. Like if I try to do it in the afternoon, I'll make excuses later not to do it. So I want to knock it out first, get it out the way. I'm at my best. Now I've crushed the day and I'm ready to move on to something else. But you got to figure out what works best for you. But don't worry about pickup rates. Worry about when it's best for you to make the calls. One more.
So my condolences, bro. I know how important it sounded like that relationship was to you. I've been following you since 2019. I've seen you always talking about building a business long term. When I heard you for the first time, you were talking about the business you would have today, always looking in the long-term perspective. My question to you, I like to pick your brain. What is your best way to deal with pressure? We know there's a correlation between the more pressure you can handle, the higher success level you can have. And I saw you scale in 4 years to a level where sometimes I feel like I'm drowning in a cup of water. So I'd like to hear your brain. What do you do when it comes to handling pressure?
I think the pressure comes from us continuing to do the same thing that got us where we are, thinking it's going to get us to the next level if we do it harder. But I'm telling you, the thing that got you where you are is not going to get you where you want to be. So what we do as humans is we continue to do what got us where we are. We're scared to let that go because it got us where we are. I feel like if we quit doing it, then we're going to lose everything we worked for. And so the trick is, and this is the hard part, this is why not a lot of people level up, is when you hit that wall where you feel that pressure, you need to take a step back for a second. Number one, appreciate how far you've come and where you are, right? Instead of worrying about where you think you should be, because that's where the pressure comes from. Take a step back and take that pressure off yourself, and then evaluate what you do on a day-to-day basis and find that 20% of your actions, 20%, that's causing 80% of your results. Now we're also going to find the 80% that's producing 20% of our results, and we realize 80% of what we do only produces 20% of our results. It's time to get that out of here and make that 20% our new 80%. You have to throw things away that used to work. That's how you get rid of the pressure, because let me tell you something. There are people that have multi-million dollar businesses that are way on a whole nother level of, let's just say, monetary success than you and I, right? But they're not feeling they may be feeling some maybe equal pressure at the most, right? But why is their monetary success so much higher than us with the same pressure? It's because they've learned how to level up through throwing away the 80% that's not producing anymore. It used to anymore. Realizing these moments and acting very quickly to get rid of the things that aren't working anymore and replace them with the things that get us to the next level. That's how you're going to level up and release yourself from the pressure. Does that help?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Guys, I love you so much. Thank you for just being you and the entire NAR Rep family. You guys have been really good to me over the years. I spoke at many NAR Rep events, and I love the energy every single time. So big thanks to you guys. So give it up for yourselves.
Thank you for coming here. I think this was valuable, right? Like this was nuggets. This is a VIP session, only for members, okay? So thank you so much for being a member, and thank you I know you're going through a hard time, and it's difficult, and you could have said, Neely, you know what, I cannot do it today, and you came. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you.